Cool, welcome back to Hosted by Posh. Today we're joined by Keith and Fahn from Soldout Dates. You guys have kind of been taking the US by storm. I can't even name all the cities that you've thrown events in recently. It's pretty insane. I want to dive into the business and how you guys think about creating incredible live experiences, but let's start with like how you guys came up and why you wanted to get into events in the first place.
Cool. So we live in DC right now, and DC is a very club-heavy place, and we were honestly getting bored. Like we would go out and we would spend thousands of dollars at the club, hear the same trap music over and over. Everybody's standing around, like we would be drunk, but we wouldn't really be having like a good time. So we decided to, and Fahn was also like getting really big on TikTok with like things to do in DC.
Yeah.
And we kind of decided to like start like a concierge service, which was a stupid idea at first. We wanted people to pay us to come to DC and follow us and have things to do, like hang out with us. We ended up pivoting. We bought a cruise ship. We really got a cruise ship in like March.
Wait, so fast track. So what were you guys doing for day jobs before this?
I was in audit with
Okay.
with EY. Yeah.
I was in marketing on the agency side, on project management.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So still creative, but not like creative like this. It's a different type of creative for sure.
And clubbing was like a weekend escape from those jobs, I guess.
Yeah. I think that, like Keith mentioned, when I was on TikTok at first, I was pushing people to events that like I didn't have much control over. So it's like, I'm pushing y'all to this random club, not getting cut off for this. So I'm also pushing them to our events, get a cut off of it and make it make more sense. So we snowballed, and then that's what SOD is today.
Yeah. I feel like people were like taking advantage of like Fahn's being able to push to certain events that really weren't fitting us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we realized we could kind of like shape the event to be what we wanted it to be. So back to the cruise ship. So we went to, it was like March, and we were like, yo, let's have a weekend where everybody comes to DC called Summer Fling, and we just have a weekend full of events. And we were like, let's have a big event. Let's get a cruise ship and just have a big boat party, bottomless tequila or whatever.
Summer Fling was an already existing thing, or you
No,
guys came up with that?
We just came up with it.
Okay.
Yeah, we just came up with it 2022. It was my birthday weekend. And we got the cruise ship, and we were like, yo, we never really like thrown an official event before.
Yeah.
So we had our first like Drake night at Capo Deli, which is a speakeasy in DC on U Street. And that joint went viral. Like it really went viral. Even though like in retrospect, it was a free event on RSVPs, but we were hype off of it. We saw it.
The invite for it, or like the video of the event after?
There was no video after. It was literally just like we made a flyer. We replaced Abraham Lincoln with Drake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like we put Drake as the Abraham Lincoln. Like we photoshopped. Me and Fahn both have like graphic design background.
Yeah.
We replaced Abraham Lincoln with Drake, and the flyer went like, for that phase with no followers, it had like 600 shares.
Damn.
We had like 0 followers on the Soldout Dates page, went up to like 500, and we thought we were doing something. And we just kept pushing it from there, and we had Capo going crazy.
Yeah.
It was like the craziest night Capo ever had. And
It was like, we got something here. Might as
we got
well
something.
keep it running. So for Summer Fling, we had 3 events. The first event, where was it at? Ivy City? No? Friday
yeah,
night.
it was at Ivy City, and
Then we had an after party at Air.
yeah, there.
So basically all the venues we used for Summer Fling, they were like smaller venues for the most part because we were still like getting our footing, but we already had that relationship with them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's do this party with us. Like, all right, you already showed us good work, so let's do it.
Yeah.
But that weekend,
But
really
see,
stamped us.
even prior to Summer Fling, we were in Costa Rica, and we were at the waterfall, and we got a call from New York City from a Sultan room, and they were like, "Yo, y'all can get Thursday night here and like run the event." And we like posted it, and that joint went viral in New York, and it sold out in like 2 days. We're like, "Oh shit!"
So how quickly did the connects kind of come together once you have a single successful event, or were these connects that you already had before you started everything?
Like in DC or just like national?
Getting a random call from a club in New York and like just offering you a night, was that from one event, that first Summer Fling event, or?
No, so we were kind of like pitching it out. So Tochi that runs South House, I went to a South House party at Sultan Room in New York for Memorial Day weekend, right after our party on Thursday. And I kind of like DM'd him, and I was like, I actually DM'd his clothing brand. I didn't know anything about the New York scene. I DM'd his clothing brand. I was like, yo, like, how do we get in contact? I thought the venue was Southern Yankee. It was actually Sultan Room. I was drunk. like whatever. So I hit him up and I'm like, yo, like, how do we get in touch with this venue? We ran into James, who does the booking for Sultan Room, and they said we can get a Thursday night, try it out. Like, it's not a huge space, but it really launched us off to show that we could do stuff in other cities with like our marketing plans and everything. So he gave us a call, he believed in us that Thursday night, and we sold it out completely, and the relationship been strong since then.
That's dope. What do you think event goers in DC are craving right now, and specifically what were they kind of missing before you guys came onto the scene?
Yeah, I think that our parties, for the most part, is that they're just a good time open format type of situation. Like post-pandemic, a lot of those clubs and venues, they had to stay alive, so they shifted from like open dance floor to like sections and booths, because during the pandemic you can operate as a club, but you can operate as a restaurant. So they brought in like all these tables, all these hookahs. So DC post-pandemic was more like relax, sit down and chill, but it was like, I'm not just trying to sit down the whole time. I'm tired of listening to trap music. I want to dance and party, and a lot of the spaces in DC didn't have that. So that's why we're using like unconventional spaces like Hook Halls or Ivy City spaces, where like it's not much going on there, but we have like full control to bring in what we need to bring in there. So we have more like that open format dance floor space, just giving people opportunity to dance.
Yeah. A lot of things too. A lot of people move to DC that are like on the scene outside. Like even myself and Fahn, we both moved up to DC. He moved after college. I moved up from Charlotte. People want to come there because it has a reputation of being like this brunch city where people come to have fun. They're outside, like they're doing their thing. But we came in with a new energy. We were those people, and we came out and we just came and brought like our energy, from our perspective of what we wanted to see, what we wanted to do, and what we wanted to hear, which is like most important. So it kind of like snowballed a little bit.
Yeah, so let's dig into your energy and what your crowd wants to hear. I think one thing that struck me as really unique about you guys is a lot of the other bigger organizers we encounter, especially the ones that are multi-city, are booking either like relevant local acts or have big headliners that they're bringing in. You guys will book other acts, but you also have your own in-house entertainment team that's kind of like leading the whole night. They were just saying like the show in Memphis, I guess you did almost entirely on your own. So like, what's the strategy there, and why do you think people are so interested just in your team? Like you guys are packing out stuff without some big headliner.
I feel like it's social media. Like I feel like social media really gives people the chance to be somewhere that they're not. Like I can be in LA and follow somebody in DC and see a Soldout Dates party. Yeah. And I may be in DC in like a month from now, or they're like, okay, Soldout Dates is in LA now, and I'm still gonna have a good time. But just that connectivity to see like what all my friends are doing in different cities and just having those networks. And then Keefe's really good at like setting up those ads to like really target like the demographic we're looking for. Like I feel like when I landed in Chicago for one of our events, first thing I saw was like one of our ads, like a sponsored ad. I'm like, okay, this perfect demographic. It's me. Like,
he saw my work in person, so he knows I'm not home just chilling. Yeah. But no, I feel like another thing too is like the energy is infectious. Yeah. Like we like one big family. Like we on the road all the time. We go to city. I see Olo every single week. I see Cortez every week. He lives in Memphis. Olo lives in New York. And it's kind of like a chemistry that's like not able to be replicated. We kind of know what to do. What's go time? Like who's gonna be on right now? Like who's bringing the energy? Who knows this cue? Like 12 o'clock, I might come up, tap Olo on the shoulder, like, yo, let's go, like, let's do this. Yeah. Let's go and activate the crowd. We want people to be engaged. You want them to have a night that they're gonna remember, that they're gonna talk about for a next couple of weeks. Cause you know, you go to the club, I'm not talking about the club on Tuesday. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not sending the club to my friends in another city. So it's like we have to make sure that we're capitalizing on building on that energy of the real life experience that you're having at our event. And it's just something that you have to come see and feel for yourself.
And I feel like a lot of people just trust us. Like they see us just like, sounds crazy, thought leaders in the party space, because they see us party a lot, not only in DC, but other cities, states, other countries. So they're like, I want to hang with them. So it's like, they're having a good time in Bali or Dubai and the DR, like I know they're gonna put on a great experience.
People literally used to hit Fahn up to hang with him.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's what started the whole business. I was like, yo, I sent Fahn. You remember I sent you like $100
to make a logo. I said, I guess I'll make a logo. That's it. Next thing I know, like,
Fahn didn't give me that logo for 3 months.
Hey, at all.
I was like, yo, I got the name. We have the Soldout Dates name. We didn't have a logo.
Yeah, I owe like 3 people logos right now.
Who came up with the name?
I came up with it. I came back from Turks and Caicos.
Because it's not soul music that's at the events.
No,
really.
hell no.
It's just the soul of the
So
event.
it's funny. So we're working with this. We're from North Carolina. We went to school in Charlotte, and we're trying to find a venue space in Charlotte. And Charlotte's different. It's very southern, so they're like very like hip hop. So they saw the Soldout Dates name. We hopped on the call, and bro is like, yeah. So we really usually have a problem with like trap music, but y'all are soul music, Soldout Dates. So it should be fine. And
Soul
I'm
based.
like, I guess like, but it's hilarious to me though.
Yeah.
Did it work out?
No,
mean,
we're not.
The first thing I thought when I heard the name and DC was I thought of Brent. And
Brent.
I thought, yeah.
So
maybe you
my
were,
thing with soul was nothing with soul music. If you know, like I'm not an R&B guy at all. That's fine. I was like sold, like black,
Shaking my head,
sold
man.
out. Like the
He
tickets are
probably can't name 5
gone.
R&B songs.
I know, like I can't. And it's like sold was for me sold as in like black people, and sold as in sold out. Like we on sold out dates. We traveling around the country selling out these dates. I didn't think anything about soul music until people started hopping in the comments saying like, "Yo, is it R&B? Is it groovy?" I'm like, no, it's not.
How do you guys think about like with the ecosystem of music and fashion, and you're talking about how people were hitting you up literally just to hang out with you, like, do you think that live experiences drives the culture from a sense of fashion and relevant music emerges first in a live setting, or do you think it's more online now?
It's online.
Yeah, it's definitely
Really?
online.
Like, I feel like I was watching this one clip. It's like people in the UK are adopting like a TikTok accent. Like, not an accent around people, but near them, an accent like online, people they don't even know. Like, we're able to see fashion in like every part of the world and see what people are wearing and get inspiration. And that's kind of like driving our culture. Like, if you look at Emma Piano, like the way it's blown up in these major cities, because we have access to like seeing Uncle Waffles and Joburg. So I think the culture for sure right now is being driven from online.
A lot of foreigners learn their first bit of American culture on TV or YouTube. So it's like it's really like a global thing that you get your culture online. I mean, of course, in person is always going to trump, but it's like the biggest way to spread it is online.
Yeah, so you're like, you can still trend set via events, but new stuff is emerging online first.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like pulling and taking, like, I'm gonna do something like this, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of learning on YouTube, for the college kid that's out there right now that's into the events culture and doesn't know how to get started, paid ads, massive skill if you want to be able to market, especially going into a city cold where you don't really know anyone. How do you guys, like, how did you accrue your graphic knowledge, all the marketing stuff? Did you teach yourself on YouTube or?
So I started off as a videographer, a photographer in Charlotte. I had a brand called Screwed, and I used to do like my friends like music videos. And I kind of learned Photoshop backwards from a Premiere Pro standpoint. So I learned Photoshop, learned how to edit, learned how to design, kind of branched my clothing brand off from there.
That was from YouTube mostly?
No, it was all self-taught. Like I started in Final Cut Pro, and I just kept like teaching myself just how to, so it could be my own style. I felt like if I was on YouTube, it would have copied somebody a little bit. So I taught myself pretty much everything. Like even me and Fahn, we like send stuff back and forth all the time, and like he'll do something entirely different than how I do it, but like it works because it would like come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Fahn will do like art boards. He introduced me to like art boards on Photoshop when I would just make like big groups of like layers and files of how we like edit. But it's interesting, like he's one of the only people that's like up there with like Photoshop that I've like encountered as like a friend, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
and I feel like for Photoshop, this goes back to like 8th grade. My brother got a laptop, he had Photoshop on there. Everybody was going from the house for the day. We got on his laptop and just started messing around. Through high school, I made like flyers here.
Did you guys get the cracked versions, or were you all? That's what I was
I had
obsessed
the
with in
cracked
middle
version.
school, was like how to get programs like FL Studio and all that for free. And
So I had on campus we had like a laboratory or whatever.
Yeah.
That had Photoshop on there.
Yeah.
So like all throughout college, I'm like making flyers for all the organizations.
Yeah.
Like I'm their go-to guy. Quick $30 for a flyer. I'm like, bet. But so what I would do is like I will figure out what I want to do, and I'm like, go YouTube, like how to set an overlay to blah blah blah. So over time, I always learned like a whole bunch of different skill sets to be able to like make what I need to make. But just really just being specific on like what you're trying to do on YouTube, like how to do this, how to do that. And over time, it just all come together. I feel like I'm still learning stuff on Photoshop, and I feel like I slowly dabble in Illustrator. I think Illustrator is more for like the vector text-based. Definitely a good skill to have. So I think that majority of my flyers are like 85% Photoshop and then 15% Illustrator.
Yeah.
And me, I'm just like crash and burn. Like if I don't get it, I don't get it. Like I'm gonna just keep trying to like do it my way. Sometimes like if I ever do go on YouTube, I see that whatever I was doing is just backwards.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool. It comes out how it's supposed to.
I feel like 5 to 6 years ago, if you were someone that was a savant in Photoshop, Premiere, even like music production, audio editing, whatever, you would get a lot of respect because everyone knew the amount of time that you poured into learning those things. And now with all the like AI aspects of these programs, it's getting democratized. Are you guys more excited about the fact that people like yourselves that are lovers of the scene will have less of a barrier to entry? Or is it more so frustrating that now you're not as specialized in the sense that someone else doesn't have to put in the same amount of blood, sweat, and tears that you put into to get to where you are today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm kind of envious of them because like I wish I had that. But then at the end of the day, like you can have AI, but you still just have to have that vision.
Yeah.
Like honestly, for like a lot of the flyers, our new style, we're not creating them for the most part.
Yeah.
We're like setting the vision and the creative direction, and we're setting them elsewhere. So like you can have AI, but you don't know what to type in there or like what you want.
Still gotta have the sauce.
Yeah, you gotta know what you want it to look like at some level.
AI is still like human based, so you have to have the sauce to give to AI to create what you want.
Right,
You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, the human part right now is still trumping like anything, any short summary that you can put into AI, any type of like generative AI. But you still have to have that creative sauce at the end of the day. Like I feel like me and Fahn came to a medium for our like new version of flyers or whatever that works for our new Illustrator or whatever. And it just like, it's very marketable, it's very shareable. It's something that's been working for us really well. But me and Fahn used to do a thing like you could tell who made what flyer I made and what flyer Fahn made just because our Photoshop styles are like very defined. Like it's just kind of cool. So I feel like I'm not jealous of the new people. I'll never be that old grumpy person that's like, oh, like I remember I used to put 7 hours in. Like, nah, like if you can use AI and get off, that's cool.
Yeah.
Quick bucks.
Yeah. I feel like, going back to the style thing, I feel like our styles are very different. Like I feel like mine is very minimal and his is more like
in your face.
In your face. And that's kind of like how our personalities are too. So I feel like as a company, it works because we don't butt heads because we're like so different.
Right.
It's like I'm the casual, like chill, laid back, and then Keith is more like, let's do it, like talk, like. And I feel like if we were both like very amped up or both like very mellow, it just wouldn't work because everything wouldn't get done or we would butt heads.
Yeah.
So I think just having the balance for sure works out for us.
Balance definitely, like it definitely helps a lot.
Totally. Yeah. Avante, my co-founder, same thing. It's like we balance each other out all the time, but we're very different in terms of our vibe and workflows. We got a lot of event organizers watching. A lot of them are rooted in one city and they're like the hometown hero kind of thing going on. It's really difficult to move out of your city when you're an organizer known there and just start throwing events all over the country like you guys are doing. Without sharing the secret sauce, can you kind of talk a little bit about the logistics of you're in, Florida or Memphis or New York or wherever, and you have a show in Chicago the next week? What is the cadence in which you enter a market like that? Is it 4 weeks out you're doing an ad campaign and then a week before you go tour the venue? Walk me through when you have a show coming up, how the timeline works.
I think that I'm gonna start from the beginning. I feel like everybody loves Drake. I feel like that was a great entry point.
I have a picture of Drake on my wall, actually. I'm a diehard Drake fan.
That was a great entry point into all these different cities. Now, we still do Drake nights, but not as often. But that was a great way for us to get into these cities. Like, you may not know Soldout Dates, but you know Drake. Like, you're going to pull up.
Yeah. So I feel like with the Drake night...
OVO is going to send you guys an invoice now.
I feel like the Drake night was less about Drake himself and more about the energy that we wanted in an event. So a lot of people like Drake because he can take you places emotionally, feeling wise, sonically that a lot of other artists don't really give you. So there's people call it Drake and drive. And you get in the car, you playing sad songs or whatever. You're playing songs that you wouldn't hear in a club. So we kind of gave that experience because, you know, we met our DJ JB.
So you were playing B-side Drake songs at a
We
lot
were
of
playing, it was like everything though. It was B-side of like Brent Faiyaz, B-side of a Kanye, B-side of like Future,
Yeah.
B-side of like a lot of people that you wouldn't typically hear in a club because a lot of times the club DJs are orchestrating to make the bar more money.
Right.
They're trying to play something that's very safe. It's like a very like stringent course that they're taking while they're playing their sets. There's nothing that separates a club DJ from our DJs. You know what I mean? Like our DJs are like creative. They're like kind of reflectives of what we're doing. So the Drake night is something where it's like, one, girls love Drake. So that's like an entry point.
Yeah.
But two, is like our people that we want at our events kind of have similar music taste, similar cultural taste, similar like things that we enjoy. So it's like you can come to a Soldout Dates party, you can hear Frank Ocean, Pyramids edit, and you'll enjoy it. You know, it's something that like if you went to a club and you heard Pyramids edit, you'd be looking around like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Yeah. So it's like, that's kind of what we were looking for. It was something different, something fun where you could like energize and have a crowd going crazy to like a Marvin's Room or ultralight beam in the middle of a party. Like, it's just something fun. So like the Drake night is a good
Marvin's Room is crazy.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Beautiful.
It's definitely for later in the night though.
Nah, it's lit at 12 o'clock.
Really?
You get this crowd involved,
lights, cell phone lights,
Yeah.
like it's lit. So it's like, it's very, it was definitely a good like segue to what we were as a brand. So like now that we come back and we're like Soldout Dates, like New Orleans, like we just had it in March.
Yeah.
Same energy, you know what I mean? It's not like a Drake night, like, but we still would play like.
So you enter markets with the Drake night.
We were originally.
Yeah.
How do you get the venues?
Word of mouth. Like
Really?
most of our DJs aren't based in DC, and they do parties for other groups. So they have those connections, and then like everybody that throw parties for the most part, we all kind of know each other.
Yeah.
So we're always down to like throw lobs to like this venue or the next venue, just having those conversations. But also like Keith and Tori, they were doing like a lot of like reaching out and pitching to different venues about what we could do. And so a lot of cold calling too.
Yeah, you gotta get them to like you. Like a lot of times these venue owners are just small business owners that are like cooler adults.
Yeah.
They're like, we wanna have a space for people to come make music or people to come rock out a show. They're kind of like us on the other end, you know what I mean? So it's like you just gotta connect with them, get them to trust you and have a good, clean event.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first hurdle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, I guess on a more personal level, something I'd ask you guys is like, with Avante and I in tech, being Black founders has been something where when we're in that part of like making connections and trying to make stuff happen, there's always this hesitance, kind of what you were talking about, where like, oh, is there gonna be trap music at the venue? We're not big fans of trap music. I mean, like, I'm sure you guys have an immense amount of personal stories similar to that with venues. But how have you gone about circumventing that, and like what are your general thoughts on how to work through that?
I think for a lot of these venues, like you said, they're going to give us like that headache or that hard time, but we just push through it. And then once they see our work, they're like, this might sound crazy, but we're like, okay, it's not that type of event, which is still a wild thing to say because at the end of the day, we're all still Black people.
Yeah.
And problems can happen at anybody's event. But yeah, it's definitely a barrier just trying to push through. But once you push through that adversity, they really trust you, and you kind of like you're their go-to person. Like for one of the venues in DC, they gave us a crazy hard time.
Yeah.
Like for the first year, they gave us a hard time. But now they're like, they don't want us to leave because they know how much value we bring to them. We have so much input in that venue from like sound production, everything. We have a lot of control there.
Yeah, I always feel like the last frontier of open racism is booking a venue. Like, it's literally like you have to like hop through hoops to like get some of these venues sometimes. Like I have a pitch deck for booking an event, and it's crazy. I have to like not say like certain artists' names, or I have to like one time a venue in Charlotte, I had to like put our DJs colleges that they graduated from. Like one of our DJs went to an Ivy League school. We're like, yo, like our DJs are college educated. We went to school here. Like it
Sounds
not
very abnormal.
Sounds crazy.
It's crazy, right? Like it's some cities that I know for a fact that like Chicago, Charlotte, like it's hard for me to get a venue there.
Yeah.
Because the city may have its own issues or whatever, but it's like, that's not us. We're not from there. Like we're trying to like, have a positive thing. So I feel like a lot of these venue owners are really like, they aren't open to a lot of like Black events. And I mean, it's difficult. Like you have to fight through that. That's definitely one thing. Like any organizers that are black, young and black specifically, like you have to be able to hold yourself professionally
Totally.
to like fight through that type of like racism.
Yeah. Good on you guys though. It's working out. I mean,
Yeah, it's still
push
hurdles
through it.
though. We
It's
still have to
headache.
prove ourselves like all the time. It's crazy.
yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Speaking of proving yourselves, like where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? Where do you see the brand?
I feel like we both have different answers for that.
Go for it.
I want to have a big music festival. Like I want to have like a big yearly music festival, like maybe in DC or Charlotte or somewhere. And we have like, it's different from the other ones. So it's like, instead of you staying there from 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock, 3 big artists, it's a big ass party. This like is very fun. It's very active as a festival.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it's like a party, but it's like headlined by like a Future or like a Lotto or somebody, and it's just like a good time. People are coming to the Soldout Dates Fest and they're just like having the time of their life. You know what I mean? It's not like a stressful festival where it's like 70,000 people and you're like trying to like fight over like getting in line, like not having a seat and all this stuff. That's what I see. I see that in like the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I see it similarly, but I think that I definitely see like our big parties, but I think that when we bring into the artist aspect of it, people come there for the artist and not for the good time. So I think it'll be fire if like people came to a big festival like Soldout Dates party and you don't know what artist is coming.
We don't
like,
drop the lineup.
You don't drop the
That'd
lineup.
be crazy.
You're literally
Yeah.
just there and then, oh shit, it's
The
Future.
lineup drops the day before. That'd be
Yeah,
alright.
so like
That's
people are
actually
not
a good idea.
like driving to come to see Future. They're coming for the
Sold
Soldout
out
Dates
days.
experience.
And this is how we drop, like, this is how we get our ideas.
Yeah.
It really
No,
just comes
not
like
to
random.
put my 2 cents in, but like I think the organizers we've seen with the most longevity build a brand and people are coming for the community and the vibe,
Yeah.
not the headline acts. Because anyone can get 20, 30K and book a cool headline act
Yeah.
and sell tickets. But if people are coming because they're hyped about sold out dates, you guys really created something that's like unique and that they're there for you, which is sick.
Because
That's
like even
kind of like
for
Summer Fling.
because even for like a festival, if like you gonna go see like 2 people, then you gonna leave. But if like you coming for the party, like oh that's cool we're here, but like
Sold out dates at Audi Field. Like,
yeah, like
we got,
I'm just lit.
what-
Like it's a big party.
And we
festival.
drop it at the end. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll pay you for it.
Anyone in the DC scene or in general from the talent side that you guys are super excited about and would want to work with at some point or that's inspiring you right now?
Musically?
Just in the culture in general, like it could be from a fashion sense or other festivals that are cool.
I think that we made a decision because after last year we realized like we just weren't in DC a lot. Like for us to be like DC based, we just weren't ever home. Like our homes felt like hotel rooms. So I think this year we made
That's a Drake line. I think.
we made that conscious effort to be like, all right, we're gonna have an event in DC every single week.
Yeah.
At different venues, at different levels. But I think we're really just trying to tap more into like the DC culture. We're trying to get more like DC DJs at different events.
Is DC and DMV culture the same thing or you think it's totally different?
They have like like they all have their own thing. Like Maryland is different from like DC. Somebody that's native to DC.
So you guys are just DCs.
Yeah, we live in the city. So like I was born in Baltimore originally. So Baltimore and Maryland are 2 different places. It's crazy. It's 2 different places. But DC culture is a little different from DMV culture. Virginia, they just live over there. You know what I mean? So they don't really have their own thing. But it's interesting. I feel like they've embraced us even as like transplants. But like a lot of people that are from DC like have actually embraced us in the city. So
So
it's just
Fahn, you
fire.
really want to see it like tap more into DC culture?
No,
you
I think like they're starting to embrace us. Like we've started to have
Gotcha.
conversations with like those big groups like Broccoli City, like some of those larger DJs. Like they're coming to our events and like realizing the special thing that we have. So now it's just like figuring out what makes sense, how we can connect together, how we can work together to bring those different energies together.
So like you guys were saying before, DC was really instrumental in getting your start and you had a lot of hometown support. You guys were also kind of like the social connectors that was bringing everyone together. What does community mean to you now that you're more widespread and are you still tapped in back home?
Yeah, I feel like one of the main reasons we moved to DC was for that young Black professional community. I think that it's nothing like it. Like you can go to DC and see Black excellence everywhere you go. And that was like very instrumental. It's like one of the reasons we came to the city. So once we got there, and then we just saw that like the community was there, but it was more like in that clubby vibe, trapped out vibe. And we wanted to hold space for those people who don't want to like spend $1,000 on bottles or like smoke hookah all night. Like that's an audience of people there because we were once those people. Like most people that are popping bottles, they're in like that 27 up range that are more established. But like those 22 to like 25-year-olds, they don't have like that income to do stuff like that. So holding space for them, which is very important because we want to give back to our community and the people we're most familiar with. Like we can have an event for like the biggest event, Bullpen, for 3,500 people, and it'll be moments where we're just looking out in the audience, just really like taking it in, like wow, all these people are here for us and they're meeting new people. And one of the best parts is like when people do like recaps of our events and they're like, had such a great time, met new friends, connected with new people. It's just those type of stories that are very important because I know when I first moved to DC, I didn't have that community or knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it was like super hard for me to like find my way because it just wasn't accessible. So it's great that we're able to hold space for like-minded people, for them to come together and enjoy those type of things. And like going back to like our hometown, like we just started doing our homecomings like 2 years ago because they've been seeing what we've been doing in like DC and elsewhere. So we started like champion like UNC Charlotte homecoming. That's something like we're trying to make bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Because we have that experience. Like we've done parties in DC, New York, like Canada, Toronto. So like we're trying to bring that big energy and those big moments to like a city like Charlotte because they haven't experienced that yet and they still deserve to have a good time.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We touched so much on the fact that you guys are special because you don't have to put together a whole lineup, but when you do put together lineups, what's your strategy when you're going to a new city? How do you pick out local talent, or are you getting big headliners? How do you think about all that?
So one of the things that I like about like our company in general is that the DJ world of the type of DJs that we want is very small. So they're very connected in different ways, and they also have their own desires in their own city. So they may be looking for an opportunity like Soldout Dates to come and spin something that they've been practicing. They might have been making edits at their house or whatever during the week practicing. They get to come put it in live form at the party. And they also have a show where it's 1,000 people that they get to perform and put on their own show to see. So we know that people in the city know that these DJs are talented, and then you combine them with the Soldout Dates push, and it's just like beautiful to see in some instances. So like for instance, last week we were in Orlando, and we had a DJ there who's probably one of the bigger DJs in Orlando, DJ Jax. He was like, he's heard of Soldout Dates, but he was connected to our main DJ Showcase in New Jersey. They grew up together. So he plugged us in. He was like, yo, like Showcase, this is my guy, Jax. Like Jax is really nice. He did our Drake night that we launched in Orlando, and he killed it. He killed it, and he had the opportunity to be creative versus like, he told me weeks before, yo, I used to DJ at Celine as like their club DJs for hip hop on Friday.
Yeah.
Same set every weekend. But now they get the opportunity to come and get outside of the box and like just have a good time, have fun. So each city is curated differently. Like Atlanta will have like somebody that can get into a thug bag, get into a baby bag, get into a future bag, but the side B that people like want to hear that they don't usually get to hear. So it's cool. It's different in each city.
Yeah, that's super dope. And Showcase was also just like organic connect after you guys got started, or you already had?
So
because you got so local legends.
Yeah, Showcase is so Showcase did our first event for us in Atlanta. Actually, yeah, Showcase did our event in Atlanta.
You cold reached out, or?
No, so we had to connect with Showcase through I think it might have been through Olo or someone, but
I don't mean to keep pushing on the connect stuff, but I think for the people that are watching that want to be where you guys are, it's important to understand like the work you had to put in from a social capital standpoint to get to where you are.
You have to network like with the people that you want to work with.
Yeah.
So I think like one of the things that I think the DJs appreciate about me is like I'll be right there with them.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning, I'm connecting, and like we can all like bounce ideas off of one another, and I can be the middleman between them and another DJ in another city or whatever.
Yeah.
But with Showcase, it was special because we've been hearing about them, and we were like, yo, like you're pretty like special. Like we went to one of the sets in New York at Lot 45, and we flew him out to Atlanta, and he killed it. Yeah. It was something he was waiting for, like the opportunity to do something like that outside of what he's been in the New York and New Jersey scene. That was his first out of town gig. And we were like, yo, like this dude is special. Like,
right.
This is one of the best DJs I've ever heard. So we were like, yo, let's keep trying this like formula, putting people that aren't in places they're used to in places that are like not used to them. And it worked crazy. It was great. Like it was that first showcase show in Atlanta was crazy. So it was just those type of connections that are very valuable to us.
Totally. That's dope. Before we wrap up, craziest story. We'll start with Fahn. Anything nuts that's happened, especially in like the last year, maybe something recent?
This is not really, year and a half. We probably got the same story.
Yeah.
It's the Atlanta story. So we had our second event in Atlanta. I think we got there on a Friday. The event was like on a Saturday. So Saturday we went to brunch, having a good time. And like one of my homegirls, she's from LA, and she brought some edibles, some weed edibles.
He doesn't remember this.
And she gave me one. I thought it was like a chill edible. I thought it was a good time. And then we got to the venue, and then that's when things went south, and I'm gonna let him tell the rest of it.
Yeah, so Fahn was out of his mind this whole event. Like I'm like very tuned in at this moment, and I'm very like when we do sound check, I'm like listening very heavily to make sure it's like no errors, especially since this moment. So I hear the board skipping a little bit, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, yo, like what's wrong with that? It was one of the DJs in Atlanta. But I'm like, what's wrong with the board? Like I heard it do it twice. It was very random, whatever. So the night keeps going and it skips every 3 minutes. I'm like, all right, like what's up with this board?
What do you mean, like the song skips?
No, the board was faulty. It had literally you had like a short in it. So we get to 12 o'clock. Everybody in Atlanta is lit. This is our biggest night in Atlanta yet. It's February. It's our first date on 2023. And we were like, yo, we were excited. You know what I mean? Soldout Dates coming into our new year. It's our first year or second year, whatever. And Atlanta is very important to us. So I'm listening and the joint just go out. Like it's no sound. It's like you could hear a pencil drop for a few seconds. People started booing.
Boo.
Damn.
Like booing us in Atlanta. And I'm like, oh shoot, we gotta figure this shit out right now. So we're like, we had a host. He wasn't really doing too much. And we had my assistant Tori, she came up and she's like, she put in her front street, like I respect her. She's starting to sing. Somebody grabbed a mic and started singing. Somebody threw something at him. I saw our guy JB, he get in the back and he's DJing the whole party from the back on a laptop in an aux cord in a back room. And I'm just like sitting here standing like, yo, tell them next song, coaching like they're responding to it. And from then, the next show we had was in Memphis where we met.
And that's on the venue too, right?
No, it was on us. It was 100%
really?
on us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the DJ we hired is our first time working with him, and he rented a board from somewhere random, and it was just faulty as hell.
Yeah, and he's a good DJ. He's a good DJ. He's a good guy, known in Atlanta, whatever. But the board messed up, and it almost ruined us to start the year. So next show, we went to
board
Memphis.
has got to be some southern lingo, because we usually say just mixer.
Mixer? Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
That made me buy a board so I could like know like what's going on, you know what I mean? So that was a big like turning moment for us. Like we had to bounce back. We had Memphis in a couple weeks. That's where we met Cortez. And he kind of just took us to like another level energy-wise. So that was a crazy story.
Literally out here getting booed, and I'm just like...
these refunds are about to come in crazy. That's all I'm thinking, like, damn, if somebody throw another cup, that's another $100.
And people asking me questions, I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like, I'm just...
Somebody DM'd us. You should see our DMs. It was nuts, yo. But we bounced back really good.
So speaking of Cortez, we're going to have the inaugural second session of a Posh podcast. Bring on Cortez and your in-house DJ. But yeah, first of all, want to give my flowers to you guys. I know Posh is like super excited to work with you, and also just want to harp on again how impressive it is that as organizers you're doing like the whole multi-city thing, because there's a lot of organizers that are doing events at the same scale as you guys, but not that are able to just move about with that type of ease. And I know you like went into it broad strokes, kind of your strategy, but there's obviously a ton of secret sauce behind that goes into just being able to move into a city and pack stuff out. So props to you guys, ton of respect, and really excited to see you keep killing it. And thanks so much for taking the time to pop out and come on the podcast.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks to y'all for doing this for us, holding space. I feel like when we're going through like the negotiation phases, like y'all were the only ones that made sense for who we were and like what we wanted to be, and had like that connection on like people like boots on the ground and holding space like this and like being able to like give direct feedback. So like appreciate y'all for real.
Man,
Thank
y'all
you.
wanted to grow like us. This is the second office. I was in the first one working with Avante for IBM. So yeah, it's dope, man.
Thank you. That means a lot. All right, so we're back with part 2. We're with Cortez, DJ Olo.
You know it?
You guys are the entertainment team at Soldout.
You just got coordination.
Yes.
This is execution.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
And you also have the fashion sense. You brought me the chrome
He gonna
heart.
try to gas us up.
Chrome
in New
heart
York,
shades
you know
right now.
Hey, Chrome Hearts to the world.
exclusive. Hey, Mr. Chrome Heart, we need a fucking deal. Okay? The fucking deal.
So let's start with where you guys grew up. What city are you from?
I'm from Memphis.
I'm from Chicago, South Side, the only side, for real.
Come on, man. And look, you know what's crazy about this whole thing? We're cousins. We're cousins.
Are you guys actually blood cousins?
No, like Memphis and Chicago are cousins.
So a really good story people don't know. Actually, if you really want to talk about blood relations, Young Dolph and Juice WRLD are actually cousins.
They're from Chicago.
I did hear that.
And Young Dolph was born in Chicago.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD was born in Chicago,
Rest in
but they're
peace.
cousins, so it's a Memphis connection, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know.
So let's actually start there, because I think we've done like, I don't even know what episode we're on, but we've done a lot of podcasts, but I feel like we kind of failed to dive into the actual like real music inspirations of a lot of these events.
Right.
And also we're at like a pivotal time in hip hop culture. Rest in peace, Young Dolph and Juice WRLD. You guys are both from pivotal cities in hip hop.
Right.
Maybe talk a little bit about, I know we were talking about Pooh Shiesty earlier, but who were some of like the big inspirations when you guys were growing up that got you into
I
music?
guess we both gonna say Chief Keef, right?
I mean, I thought I was going to say Chief Keef.
Chief Keef influenced my whole city.
Yeah.
He influenced my whole city. Like the Pooh Shiesties, the all that.
Well, Chicago more than Memphis, but
Yeah,
Memphis
you know what I'm saying?
Like
Like,
me, like my high school, I'm from the South Side, really from the South Side. I was
Yeah.
definitely a nerd,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I remember Chief Keef, a lot of the people that I went to school with, like they were in the same gang, so they used to pull up like outside of my school.
Yeah.
Before he was big, like for real. And like to be honest, a lot of people was like, "What is this music?"
Yeah.
And then it just took off. I went to other cities when I went to college, and they all knew it. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow,
Crazy.
Like it was crazy."
and the performance style that you bring to the shows, I would assume is very like trap and drill influenced.
well, I'm gonna like be honest. Like everything that I do is Travis Scott influence.
Really?
Like
Really?
when I was coming up doing parties, like I was just look at Travis Scott, be like, I can do that, but put that same energy into the party scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you see my shows, you see you like when you see Soldout Dates shows, it's just Travis Scott influence.
Travis Scott from an MC
From
perspective.
an MC perspective, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like when I come on stage, my shirt's coming off every night.
Yeah.
Every night.
Every night.
and so-
we actually do a poll, right?
Yeah.
Every night before our events, like
With the team?
You know, with the team,
Yes.
and with the crowd sometimes, like
Yeah.
what time my shirt's coming off? What DJ gonna make my shirt come off tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Travis Scott takes everything off.
No, but like you know,
immediately.
usually like sometimes I would like hear a mix.
Yeah.
I would like hear a mix between like Olo will make a mix or Showcase will make a mix. It'll make me want to just take my shirt off. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know how it goes.
But you're not pre-mixing anything.
We're not
we just,
pre-mixing
we
shit.
just choose the time where we think it's gonna happen. You feel
Yeah.
me? So it's like a betting system, like 10:50, 11:30. If you really wild, you gonna think.
Is there money on it or?
There's always money on it. It's always money. But look, Keith is great at getting like the team incentives.
Yeah.
He's great at like he's great at coming in like, hey, it's time to like go from this level to that level.
Before we get into Keith and Fahn specifically, how did you guys get tapped in with Sold?
He can go first. He go first.
So I got tapped into Soldout Dates. I did a party on my own. I used to throw a party called Party Pack. like,
Okay.
Based on Future in the past.
That's also Party Next Door's album.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he
I
a small
was
motherfucker.
there before the time happened. So I used to throw this party, like I thought it was gonna go crazy. It was Memorial Day weekend, and then like I did it. And then maybe like a day before or something, I saw Fahn posted a TikTok about like moves in DC that weekend.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've never had a more successful party in my entire life. Like it was a small venue. We had people outside the door. I didn't even know who they were. Like for real. I saw them in the crowd, but I was like, oh, bet. But like I really did not realize. Then I threw another party, and like I did not have that same influence. And I was
Yeah.
like, they really went crazy in terms of turning my stuff up, or just on some like not even knowing me shit.
Yeah.
So after that, maybe like a month later, they hit me up like, yo, you want to do New York? I think it's when they did that Sultan Room party that they were just talking about. Like, yo, let's just all go down.
Just pause for a second. When you say someone like tears up a party and it's like one of the best weekends you've had, what are the things that you look for that? Like, is it crowd reaction? Is it the buzz on social media the next day? How do you judge that?
It was buzz on social media and crowd reaction. Because I
Nice.
think the thing is like, especially as like entertainers, especially when you're working in like one specific city, like you have people that are very used to coming to things, but when you're talented, that doesn't mean people are necessarily going to be able to be there for it.
Totally,
You know?
because you can. I would say that you could have the
Yeah.
greatest MC ever,
Yeah.
but if the crowd is poorly picked,
Exactly.
it's still not going to go well.
So they came on energy. Like it's
Yeah.
a lot of people that like are looking for the right things, and I think the thing is today, like people want to go to the right things, especially
Yeah.
with like the club culture today. You don't want to go and then like there's a bunch of people in sections. You pull up to actually party,
Yeah.
and you just standing there. You know.
So they're killing the pre-show marketing and the brand, and when they show up, you guys, that's in your hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like they do a really good job of like finding the right talent, like the people that actually know how to actually do it.
And
you
they
know?
trust us.
Yeah.
They trust us more than anything.
Yeah.
Like they trust. They like Keith can come to me and say, 2 words. It's go time.
Yeah.
It's go time. Like I need you out there the whole night, and I'm locked in.
Give me the science behind. I think a lot of people look at an MC as just like this reckless hype man that comes out and does a bunch of energy.
Right.
But there's an art form to keeping the crowd going throughout the night. You need to have chill songs for them to take a break, bring it back into something hype. How do you start off, and then how do you think about like keeping people energetic for 2 hours?
You have to be able to know like body language. The body language is everything. Like if I'm out, if I'm out in the crowd and everybody's like looking and everybody's saying, I'm gonna go to Olo. Hey, we may need to pick it up a little notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May pick it up, but like me and him, like I was just telling him over there for a week, like me and him got this thing to where this the first DJ I was rocking with Soldout Dates.
Really?
So I have a special camaraderie with him because he knows what I want. He knows when I drop the crossfader down.
And you can't talk, so there's like some type of sign language
ain't
going on.
Ain't no talking, ain't no talking. I'm in front. He's right here, back there. I may come back every now and then, but ain't no talking. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows what I want, but that's the beauty of us, though.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Soldout Days. Everybody knows where to like fill in.
Totally.
Like we don't. Like I was telling I was telling my guy earlier. Like we don't mind getting our hands dirty. Like we'll still bring all the cake. Like we had a party on New Year's Eve. Everybody entertainment, but we still brought all the liquor in. You know what I'm saying? We still carried the liquor from the truck. All like we don't like nobody. Everybody knows that this is for the greater good.
No, but also jokes aside, there is an authentic aspect to parties. There's a lot of MCs in New York.
There's a lot of
where
them.
they get a bag, they show up to the show, they do their hour set, and they're out. And you can tell that
Yeah,
they're not there
it's
for
not-
a good
it's not
time.
that-
It's a contract thing, and that's it.
When
you
I leave,
bring
I'm
the liquor,
sweating. I'm sweating.
You're there to have a
when,
good time.
When I leave, every show you see me post, I'm sweating, my shirt's off, because I gave it all I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's something that they mentioned before. Like, they really do show up and they see who you are. They meet you, like before anything else happens. So like when
Right.
the energy comes around, like we're already friends. We're already on the same page. Like none of us that are a part of the Soldout Dates team are very different from each other. Like we might have very different lives. We
Yeah.
all live in different cities. But at the same time, whenever you see us out, we are all on the same type of energy.
Yeah.
We bring it to the
And we
crowd.
brothers.
Yeah.
Very, very niche question for you guys, but
I want to hear it.
Talk the talk.
there's certain songs like when you put on Dreams and Nightmares, Mo
Hey,
Bamba.
I'm finna speaking of Dream and Nightmare shit.
No Diddy.
Let's stop. It's over. The Dream and Nightmare shit done.
Okay,
We done with
that's
it.
what I'm getting into. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
we
getting
done
into.
with it, yeah.
So when you have, there's certain classics that you can put on that are gonna get the energy going at any point.
Right.
With the newer songs where it's hyped for a very specific period of time, do you think that amount of time is shortening in terms of like, I feel like the trending songs are only relevant for like almost a few weeks now before they fall off Billboard
He
and
can
then you
talk.
can't
He's
play
a
them.
DJ. He can talk about that.
Yeah.
I do want to talk
DJ
about
guy,
that.
he can talk about
I do
that.
want to talk about that.
But you have to know the lyrics and stuff too.
I know all the lyrics and everything.
He's a music head. He knows the lyrics.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like I would say, like there was a difference between Soldout Dates when it was just like us as DJs and when we brought him on as a host. You need somebody that's gonna entertain and interact with the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, so like there's a level of comfortability when you have somebody that's like really there to not only just like the song plays, that's one aspect, but how do you experience the song?
Right.
You know, like what's happening when you're listening to this song, and it allows people, especially like when you're playing things that are B-side.
And it's dictated by the set leading up to it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like usually a lot of our nights, like it really starts at 10 o'clock. Like most parties start at 10, people are lit by 10.
Yeah.
And that's because we have somebody that's interacting, like you dancing with the person that's on stage,
JB
all that.
is a good guy at that. JB is a good guy of like giving you your
Yeah.
like JB can handle a crowd at the beginning of the crowd. Like we got a DJ named Broad Day JB. If you see this, JB, I'm talking about you because we the only skinny guys in SOD. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So,
That's foul.
It's true though. He's not lying. He's not lying.
oh, skinny guys, these niggas so fucking tall. These niggas, fuck 'em.
Why you mad though?
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. Like, JB is good at that. He's good at carrying your party at the beginning and like making sure he don't play enough hits, but making sure your party is not dead.
Yeah.
Right.
But having
That's
that
it's a sport.
having that person that's like really gonna be there and being on set, like you can have something that's really a hit, but if you have somebody that's gonna kind of sing that verse with you, that's gonna interact with it,
Yeah.
it allows you to draw it out and really bring that energy out.
Going into that deeper, there's local hits, and then there's hits that are more like Billboard chart topper stuff. When you're constructing the set list, how do you say tapped in with local hip hop scenes across America? And then when you're coming for the show, like, are you putting the set list together based on the Hot 100 in that city?
I mean, we watch film.
Yeah.
We watch film. Like we like basketball players.
Like athletes?
We travel.
Yeah.
We watch film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I might go to a city.
You know how many people I've told that Avante and me as entrepreneurs are like athletes, and similarly, people that throw parties are like athletes.
We watch fucking.
We don't get the same respect.
We watch film. We don't get respect
Yeah, like they
because
go to practice early, we go to practice late.
late.
Like we
Like
go
at
late.
4 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna watch a film.
Amen.
I'm watch film. Like I may go watch a Drake show. I may go watch a Travis Scott show. Just see some new shit I can add to my shit.
Or tap into a mix on the radio or SoundCloud or some
anything.
shit.
You know. Shout out to my boy DJ Self.
Yeah, but I will also say that like it's something that really goes back to the fact that our team is from so many different parts of the world, you know?
Yeah.
So like I might be from Chicago and I'm DJing in DC and New York. He's from Memphis. We got other people from Jersey. We got other people from Nashville. We got people everywhere. So like whether we go down south, whether we go to the West Coast, whether we go to New York, we already know the scene, especially with social media and how that works.
Totally. Yes, social media, something that, shout out to the programmers, but something I disagreed with the programmers was that I do think that online is where a lot of people are emerging, but I think that shows are still the true judgment of how lit a local artist is. Because you can buy 2 million streams online, but if 5 people show up to your show, you're washed.
Bro,
like,
I just posted the other day. I just posted yesterday. I said, we don't want to see your fake streams.
Yeah.
We want to see you outside, post your shows.
And who shows up for you?
Like we want to see your show. Like we don't want to see. We don't want to see 1 million people. Like if 1 million people not coming to your shows, we don't want to see it.
Like, is it real?
Is it real? We just put in 3,500 in bullpen. You know what I'm saying? 3,600 in the bullpen. You know what I'm saying? In DC, and then check this out. We could have put 5,000 in there.
Yeah. That being said, give me off the top of your head like a few artists, if we were putting money on them right now that are in the local scenes that are hot that you think are going to be on the Billboard charts in like a year.
Boss Man D-Lo.
Okay.
Boss
Memphis?
Man D-Lo. No, he's not from Memphis. I don't know where the fuck he from, but he got that Mr. Pot Scraper.
He from Florida.
He got that Get In With Me, Bad Bitch, 50 Flow, In Hibachi. You know what's up with that.
Yeah.
Y'all don't act like y'all. We 50 Flow right now, right? We might be 5th floor up, but I'm just saying, like.
I gotta shout out. I'm African. I gotta shout them out, and I'm about to go do their concert literally right now.
Yeah.
I guess they come up and coming. Odumodu Black and Shali Papi. Okay.
Is that Amapiano or?
It's
Afrobeats?
Nigerian, but like we're taking our own take on the Amapiano.
All right.
You feel me? So like
You guys are bringing up, so there's like literally a million questions I could ask right now, but another thing I wanted to get into that you're bringing up, perfect segue. We're going from like the 4x4 trap music to the 3-step Amapiano trend right now, especially in Black culture.
You like that shit?
I love it. I
What's
think
your
it's
favorite
cool.
Amapiano song right now? You just play Afrobeat song right now.
I like, shout out DJ Kwamzy, who my boy put me on to.
Kwamzy, go crazy. Kwamzy.
You know
You guys think I'm not tapped in?
All right, tap in there. Okay, what's your favorite Afrobeat song right now? When you go in the club, what make you move?
He learning. We brought him to New York.
What makes you move? What makes you move?
B-side R&B still makes me move in the club, but what I was gonna say was that I like Amapiano remixes and reworks of trap music, putting R&B acapellas on 3-step percussion.
Yeah.
But I think as an MC, it's so important to think about the fact that percussion is what drives the underground. Like the melody doesn't even matter as much as how people are dancing to the tracks.
Acapella, and you
that
gotta
come on.
become, and you gotta become.
But what I'm getting to is, do you think that Amapiano is similar to the drill wave in the sense that it's like this short-lived thing?
No.
Or do you think that 3-step is gonna emerge in the culture and be a long-lasting
I don't think that, because when you look at a Mapiano, like, to be really real, like, it's house music at the end of the day. And if we look at how long house music has lived, I'm really from Chicago too. So like, I know it's really like being able to take a lot of different music, especially when you see artists like Tyler coming out.
Yeah.
Where you're able to take a Mapiano and it's like a little bit slower than what house music is, and like make something unique.
And big shout out to Tyler for penetrating the pop charts.
Man, like, she did a really, really, really good job, and she's been like working hard for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think that a Mapiano is something that literally everybody can digest, along with the culture of what is house music, and doing it in a way that's digestible, especially with Afrobeats and like Africa coming as a bigger like standpoint right now.
Totally, and I think that's what I was trying to get at with like experiences pushing forward the underground, where it's also more so of a business strategy thing. Tyla is amazing and has music that's equally as good as a lot of the underground Piano artists, but took the more like commercial strategy of getting a Travis Scott feature and being relevant in the pop scene. And live events are one of the most like business strategic ways to get your music out there.
She didn't tour though.
Yeah.
I can't give her that yet.
But she did pop because of that feature, I think.
She's going.
If she come on tour again, you know, I don't give people credit when I do.
Yeah.
So she go on tour again, Tyler, when you go on tour again, then I'll give you that credit about the show shit. But,
and we will do the pregame at the office.
We will. We'll
just
do
the three of us.
Yeah, we do that, yeah.
Yes. Anything besides Piano subgenre wise that you guys are tapped into that you think is going to be coming up in the next like year
I want
or
to
two?
talk about it. Okay, bet. So like, we're already talking about house music. I think Afro house is a very big like standpoint on music that has not been tapped. It's a little bit faster. It's actually a little bit closer to what house music is, at least in terms of BPM. And people don't know what it is. Like, to be really honest with you, I think there's like a very big stance on looking at Africa. And I think even with Soldout Dates, like, I think that's something different, especially starting in DC. Like, it was very separated, where you had a lot of people that were going to very trappy clubs and then very Afro beats, very African clubs. Because DC has the largest concentrated amount of like people from the African
And they get money out there
in the city, and they get money.
And they get money. Everybody making $100,000 in DC. Don't come out there again making $8,000. Please don't. Don't come out there.
So Afro house, like, it's gonna go crazy. I think it just hasn't had that commercial person to do it.
Totally.
For real.
Just the precursor. I know you got to run to a show.
You do.
I'm low on time. Shows how popular you guys are. Yeah.
I'll finish it out.
We're going to keep Cortez on. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. But
It's gonna
thank
get
you
too
for
crazy.
joining us, and big ups to how crazy you've been going in the scene. So
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. DJ
Appreciate
Olo,
you coming on.
appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Olo was the first DJ to embrace me and Soldout Dates, so it's special that we on the couch together. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
Trying to make me cry.
I'm not gonna make you cry. We good. But like Keith and Fahn believed in us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got this big entity going right now. That we like this melting pot of like great talent. Melting pot of great talent that's like gonna be the next big thing. So if you're not on us right now, then you might need to get on us. SoldoutDates.com.
Soldout Dates.
Go holler at us.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know, Keith. It's a new website.